Can you see results from Google Shopping ads after 1 month? Yes and no. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what you expect to see in terms of results after running Google Shopping ads for 1 month. If that's your first Google Shopping ad campaign, what kind of results is realistic and how to set up your campaign for long-term success. Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, RI Doctor who helps online store owners to grow and scale up profitable Google Shopping ads. Today's topic is about seeing results from Google Shopping campaigns after 1 month. What kind of results are realistic, what kind of results are unrealistic, and what you should be looking out for to really set the right foundations for profitable Google Shopping ads in the long run. I get many inquiries coming to me asking me what results should they be expecting after setting up their Google Shopping campaign for 1 month. And I find this question quite disturbing, and I want to address this in this video. The thing about setting up Google Shopping campaign is what most store owners presume is that once they set up some campaign, they put some money in, they click start, everything's okay, and then they start showing to some people on the Google search platform, and people are just going to click on the ads, come to your store and buy. And this is totally unrealistic. Imagine this today: if you set up a new store in the middle of town and never promoted their store, didn't put up any banner before that, didn't hand out any leaflet, nobody know that this store was opening, and it just opened, would you expect that this store is going to start generating high amount of sales after 1 month? It's totally ridiculous. It's impossible because there was no word of mouth, there was no marketing, there was no promotion, nobody knew about this store. So it's kind of unrealistic to expect a steady flow of sales or some form of sales. If you're lucky, yes, because your store was properly situated in the middle of town where there is a fair number of people walking up and down, so you might be lucky, you might get some shoppers who were looking at other stores and they saw your new store, they really like how it looked like, they come into your store and they might decide to buy. But if you have done zero promotion in the first place, you have not done any social media, you didn't tell any people, you didn't promote on any other platforms before setting up that first Google Shopping campaign, it's unrealistic to expect some form of sales after even setting up your campaign for like 1 day or 2 days. There are quite a number of reasons why this is the case. When you set up your first Google Shopping campaign, Google needs to know who to show your ads to. Google doesn't have the magic answer to show to the right people. Yes, Google will start showing to people and see how they respond. So depending on who click on your ads, who come to your store, and whether they buy, and using all of this information, Google is going to collect all this information and feedback and improve your ad campaign. And this collection of information usually takes place during this first 7 days after your campaign is being set up. There are no automatic sales. And this comes to the next point is when you first set up your Google Shopping feed, which means that your product information from your Shopify store or your online store is being sent over to Google Merchant Center. Are they optimized? And most of the time I see store owners thinking that their products are optimized, but actually it is not. The thing about Google Shopping campaign is this is not a campaign where the advertisers can key in to say these are the keywords I want to be ranking for, and you tell Google, show it to my customers. No, you don't do that. Instead, you need to put all the right keywords in your product title, in your description, in your other attributes. So from all this information in this product feed that you submitted to Google, Google then derives this information, match it to their internal mapping table, and then decide who they will show your ads to. So you don't have full control over what such queries you want your ads to be showing for. And that's one of the reasons why you might not be able to see immediate results. If your product feed is not optimized from the day one when you set up your product feed, the products might be shown to the wrong people and you might not be getting the right clicks. Or if your product images are not very attractive, you might also not be getting clicks. So this is another variable that you need to be working on to make sure you're going to get that sales. And we come to the third part, where people who comes to the store, let's say if you have done the first part right, you have done other promotion online, your store is quite well known before you actually launch, you have a good social media presence, maybe you're also running ads on other platforms, so you're getting a steady flow of traffic and you have an optimized product feed. You want to make sure you have a plethora of reviews on your store. If you're not getting reviews on your store, this makes it really hard for people to buy at the beginning when nobody has actually praised your store products, recommended your store. You're not getting user reviews, user feedback. And user-generated content, UGC, is one of the top factors that potential customers or shoppers are looking for confirmation, for validation before deciding to buy. One of the alternatives is when you're generating sales at the beginning, you can maybe offer perks, incentive for people to buy, or if they leave a review for you, if they really like your product, you can offer them some form of incentive, maybe a discount for their next purchase or for their next referral. That's going to help to incentivize them to leave a good, useful review. And this will be setting a good foundation for future shoppers to come to your store and trust your store and products. And that also comes to the fourth part is, aside from the user-generated content, your store must look really presentable. It must look really pretty enough that people feel that they can trust you. If your store looks really messy, doesn't have a good brand color, doesn't have a good design, and if you're selling products, they belong more to the middle and high end, that's not going to motivate people to buy either because they're really confused, they're not sure if they're buying something that's really expensive, but your store doesn't look like it's selling luxury products. And then we have a problem. There's a mismatch in your brand identity and your products. And this will also cause some confusion and potential shoppers might not really trust you. You have to understand that the online store and the physical store is really different because physical store, the shopper can actually step into the store, touch the product, talk to a salesperson in the face, and they know that the store is there. So if they buy something they don't like, they know that they can come back to the store and request or demand for refund if they don't like it. So they know that the store is not going to run away. And if they don't like the store, they're going to tell all their friends and all their neighbors where they live and tell everybody to avoid your store. So there is some form of security there. But if you're an online store, this makes it really hard. If a shopper decides to buy from your store, they can't make a return straight away. They don't know who's owning the store. You're online. They don't know who you are. There are no other people who have bought your products before. There's no validation. So this makes it really hard. There's no backup plan. There's no refund for their money. So there's no form of guarantee and security for them. So in order to overcome this barrier of trust, that's when you have to make sure all your other elements that I've spoken earlier are set in place properly, setting up the good foundation. Simply relying on Google Shopping ads to generate some form of sales in the first month is not that unrealistic if you've done everything right. So you might expect to get a couple of sales if you are lucky, and from there you might make improvement to your Google Shopping campaign, you optimize it, and then you monitor the performance, you analyze the performance, and you continue to make improvements along the way. Let's say if some product ads are doing well or if some product ads are not doing so well, what changes can you make to improve it so Google can show to more of the right people and get more of the right people to your store to buy. So this is an ongoing iteration process for your store. And that means after you have made those changes, you need to wait for 7 days to collect this information, analyze the data, see if it's working well, and what other improvements can you make. If it's working really well and you want to add on to your budget, how do you make sure that it continues to perform really well as well? You need to look for new opportunities in your campaign so Google can show more to the right people and get them to your store. I'm not going to go into the details on the specifics of what to optimize, but if you really want to go into the details, you can check out one of my other videos, limited by budget for your ad performance, how to increase your ad budget so your campaign continues to perform. Link in the top right hand corner of the screen, so do check that out. And this continuous improvement of your campaign, working on your campaign, deciding on what's the best ad budget, monitoring the performance, analyzing, and then making changes, improvement to your campaign, optimizing your product feed, continue to collect more reviews for your store, improving on your store to make it more trustworthy, and also promoting your products on other platforms and not just simply relying on Google Shopping is the best way to make sure that your Google Shopping campaign really performs well in the long run. And this is where after this continuous improvement and changes, after typically like 2 to 3 months, then you might see a steady flow of sales coming in. If you have done everything correctly, then this is where I talk about the results. And during this analyzing of performance, make sure that your cost per click remains low. That is, if you're starting out, you want to kind of look at USD 0.66 cents as a start, the benchmark cost per click, and the click-through rate of 0.86%. If it's too low, you want to improve your product feed, and monitoring your conversion rate as well, which is 1.91% for your conversion rate. If you are really, really low, 0.1%, 0.2%, you want to look into how you can improve that. And one of the key fundamentals you want to also keep in mind is when you're running Google Shopping ads, especially during the first month, it's also quite impossible to see sales, mainly because some of the shoppers, depending on the price point of their products, they might need 1 to 2 weeks to decide to buy. Let's say if they see your ad on the first day of the campaign or first 3 days of the campaign, they might not buy during the first week, they might buy during the second week or third week. So if you're expecting to see some kind of sales, big sales during the first week or second week, or daily sales when you have done no marketing in the first place, I would suggest you probably shouldn't even waste your money, because that is an unrealistic expectation. It's a wrong mindset to have. You're setting yourself up for failure by expecting that instant sales. What I would recommend is after the first month, be open-minded. Don't expect to see regular sales every single day. If you get quite a number of sales every other day, you are probably on the right track. So you want to continue to improve on your campaign, improving on your store pages to make sure that this performance continues to scale on a more regular basis. Typically, if you get your cost per click or click-through rate quite close to the industry average, it's more likely that you're starting to see sales on a more regular basis. And usually about 2 to 3 months, you might see more of the expected performance of your sales if you start with a low budget. One of the other ways that people might try to hasten the results is thinking that if they put in a large budget, like let's say, let's put $100 per day or $200 per day, surely I'm going to get sales, right? That's even worse, especially if your product feed is not properly optimized, you're not showing your ads to the right people. You're putting in so much money also means that you're burning up your ad budget really quickly, but you might not be showing to the right people. That's why I recommend usually to start with a small budget. You might show to lesser people, but at the same time, you're able to see what's wrong with it. So every little improvement that you make, you're more likely to see more of the positive effects. Or if it doesn't work, you'll be able to see the improvements straight away. I hope this video gives you a better insight into what to expect when you're setting up your first Google Shopping ad. If you've already just set up your Google Shopping ad and you're not seeing any results, you're getting really demoralized. Hope this gives you a better idea of what's actually happening, and you're not alone in this case. If you want to learn more about how to optimize and set up Google Shopping campaigns for long-term profitability, check out one of my other videos, link in the top right-hand corner of the screen. I go into more depth explaining what are the different ways you can optimize your campaign to improve your profitability. And if you want to get more clicks on your Google Shopping campaign as well, check out 13 ways to get more Google clicks for your shopping campaigns. Link in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket and you know that you want to diversify your traffic source, download my free Shopify marketing guide where I go into the pros and cons of different ways to drive traffic to your store so you can choose for yourself what best suits your time frame and budget. Link in the description and pinned comments, so do check that out. And if you enjoyed this video and found it useful, remember to give it a like. Do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on how to scale up profitable Google Shopping ads. I'm Clarice Lin, the RI Doctor, signing off. Stay profitable.